na-na-na-na-na-na.
Wow,
On
she
Sports
seems
Center.
way more enthused than you tonight.
I'm enthused.
All right.
I'm very enthused. Are you kidding me?
What's happening tonight?
Tonight is an opportunity for us to make history. Not only have we been blessed to be in this position twice, but this is our third time for a state title. And this group of young ladies has put in an extreme amount of work. I talked about this yesterday in our halftime speech and pregame about the journey this group has been on has been over 24 months. It started when a lot of these girls were sophomores that are now nearly the end of their junior year. And it's really satisfying to see how much they've grown as not only individuals, but how much basketball they've learned. But also, they have now
he's so serious. You
become
gotta be you.
a team. I mean, that was what was missing,
Last
earlier in
season?
the season. It was just that
Yeah.
family feeling. And it takes time to develop that. You know, you have all these kids from different walks of life and personalities, and we're trying to mesh them and say, now let's go win a state title. When you're not ready early in the year, it's a whole journey. And they have just they've exceeded expectations of mine, actually, because I knew they had the ability, but can you put all the pieces together?
I'm impressed with your ability to focus with the amount of distractions happening around you. It's like you were raised in an environment with crazy people.
I was raised
not crazy
in
people.
an environment
With a lot of action.
You know, the thing,
And then there's that.
any other questions?
I have a lot. Well, we talked a lot about some pregame rituals and maybe just
What do we do?
some look.
Dad, what's our
What about
pregame ritual?
what about some like lucky shoes? Oh my gosh, prancer size! What is going on over here?
Are you trying to steal the show?
Yeah, she is.
She's
I
pretty.
love it.
She's pretty.
She's pretty.
Thank you, Vanna.
You're real
Every year, I'm a basketball player, and every year I just embrace my basketball that I have in my blood, I guess. And part of it is I always buy some kind of unique shoe to remember the year by.
Yeah.
So the first title we ever won, I have a pair of Spike 40s. They're blue, and then my whole theme that year was we're going here to win a blue trophy. And I wanted the brightest blue shoes that you could find. Then the second time we won a trophy, I bought shoes that finally got
Thank you,
re-released
Vanna.
that I wanted for 20 years, and they were the cement Jordan number 3s. And I finally got those. I got them about 2 weeks before the tournament. And then Kerry and I were at the mall a few weeks ago, and I saw these, and they're Jordan number 3s, and they're all red, and these are the All-Star Jordans. And I wanted to buy them, but they were sold out. And then we happened to walk by a Foot Locker, and they only had a few pairs left, and one of them was my size.
Question. So tonight you're playing Monroe for the championship title.
The Chippy.
This will be your. How many titles have you won?
This will be our third state title.
I like that you're already claiming the victory.
Well, I'm not claiming it, but I think if you get this far, you've prepared to be this far, and we've put in all that extra work. We have. And we did not come here to fail. We came here to succeed. And yeah, we could fail today, but we're not, because we've put in the work. You know what I mean?
I know. After watching your
we don't
games
think
this
like that.
weekend, I
we don't
can't
think
imagine
like that. That's what I'm getting at. We
there's
don't think like
there's
that.
any weaknesses you guys haven't already worked through.
Yeah.
You're strong.
Yeah, and the kids have developed a strong mental attitude. So I've never seen a group that you say to them, hey, you ready for tomorrow? And they're like, we want to play now.
I want to play now.
They want to play now. And I'm like, that's awesome. They're just like, next game. Like if we said, hey, yeah, we're going to play Monroe later tonight, they'd be like, great. Get me some Gatorade, chews,
I'm
get
ready.
me some energy. And they really would. They would play later that night. So they're kind of goers. They
Okay,
go.
the first title you won, I remember talking to you about pregame rituals, and you wrote down like affirmations, goals, and positive
Yes.
words to each of your girls on their
Yes.
wrist.
Yeah, what's our thing?
Yeah, what do you do now to help them mentally?
A lot of times now I try to give them metaphors for strength. So
The kitties.
the one that we've done now is we have a picture of a kitten, and it looks like it's playing, and I always draw something above it, and I stick it to the wall.
What?
So like obviously Bannon were the tigers, so I
Yeah.
used it as they're the kittens. They're soft and cuddly and sweet and friendly, you know, and they're harmless. Let's just go beat
We
the
all
little
have
kittens,
our
you
own-
know.
Oh.
And so that was the icon I put on the wall. It was just kind of like, you don't need to be afraid of them. They're just kittens.
So are you slaying the dragon tonight?
Yeah, we're gonna slay dragons, and we have a whole nother thing in my brain that we'll do tonight. So
Nice.
and it's just kind of fun to have something like that. So maybe the kids remember that, maybe they don't. Maybe it just takes their mind off of the stress going on. And
You
they
know
think of
what?
something
It
else.
spoke to me was the role that you guys play.
Good cop, bad cop.
Well, no, not
But
good
sometimes we
cop.
play bad cop, and then I look at her and it's like, I thought we were doing good cop. She's like, I thought I was a good cop, and I was like, I thought I was a bad cop, and we do
Oh
bad
my
cop, bad cop.
gosh.
So that's
No, what I mean is this almost okay. You've been raised with a big family, sisters, the whole bit. It seems like you take on a nice kind of father role, like you're spending that one-on-one time telling each girl.
Did you hear that?
Yes, I did. Each
Yeah.
girl, like what you see in them and their strengths. I think.
I
it
think
means a
throughout
lot.
the season, there are moments where somebody just needs to hear that, and just tell them, hey, this is what I see. These are things that I would like to encourage you to continue doing,
Yeah.
and little things, and they're subtle. You don't want to like overburden them and just be like, you're amazing, you're gonna be the top recruit in the state. You don't talk like that. You talk about things that are very achievable and now that they can do.
You nasty.
And,
Man, that Vanna, she's everywhere.
Vanna.
Okay.
And so things like that we try to just help them just think that they can make something of themselves versus just being common, you know.
It's always more than a season. You are teaching them life lessons.
Well, things that we might say or do now, maybe it helps them now, but maybe in 10 years they look back and they're like, you know, and they have kids and they say, you know, I remember when my coach pulled me aside and he just said, hey, you can do it. You're a good shooter. When you get opportunities, take those shots. Don't be afraid. And the other thing is, make mistakes, but when you come out of the game, let's talk about it. Don't be afraid to admit those and try to remove those mistakes in the future. I mean, if we don't learn by making mistakes, and that's how a lot of us learn, little things, then we start saying, oh, that scenario that happened, how do we avoid that in the future? That's just how there's a lot of that in life too.
All right, send us off with one final thought.
Final thought to sum everything up. The most challenging season I've ever been a part of has now become this season that I am very happy to be a part of. And it is actually going to be extremely bittersweet after tonight because it's our last game. And the last month, I would say, we bonded as a team more than I ever thought we were going to ever get to. You know?
You look like you're tearing up almost.
Absolutely, I am.
Oh, you
I
love
love every
these
single one of them.
girls.
A month ago, I hated their guts, and now I love them.
Are you crying? You didn't hate their
No,
guts.
I'm kidding. No, but there's a lot of frustration with coaching because you have a lot of things to manage, and you get to a point where you're just like, is this working? Is it soaking in? How do we get over this hump?
I
And
think we got
all of
it.
a sudden, we got over the hump. We had all these little things that Kerry went out of her way to say, we're doing this as a team. We went to a not panic room. We locked them in a panic room, and I was like, no, we went to an escape room as a team bonding, and these girls worked together the whole time as a group, and they succeeded. And they cheered louder than I've ever heard them cheer for each other. Then we had a sports psychologist come in, and he did a really good job of just let them talk about themselves and find something about themselves.
Peter, we gotta go in
So,
20 minutes.
This season's just been
He's
challenging.
really busy right
But
now.
the challenges have a great reward because look at where we're at now.
Look
I
at
love
me
it.
now.
All right.
Look
Good
at
luck
me.
tonight. Go
Good
Trojans.
luck, go Trojans.
Yes, sir.